Hello and welcome. My name is Rashim Mogha and I am your host for this Empowered Women of the World podcast. This podcast is for you, it is for me, and it is for all women who want to take charge of their career and happiness. In this weekly podcast, we'll talk about technology, we'll talk about leadership, and we will talk about mindfulness. We will talk about how you can discover, visualize, and actualize your success, whatever that means to you. We will also talk about our common opponent, the conscious and unconscious bias, which we deal with on daily basis. And we'll share ways with you to navigate work politics. At the end of each podcast, I will share with you a tip or a resource that you can use to be successful. It's going to be a fun ride, so hop on and join me on this journey every week. Now, today's podcast is on building resilience. I was speaking at LinkedIn last week. It was actually a workshop based on my book, Fast Track Your Leadership Career. And we talked about how to plan and build for a successful career. Now, one of the topics that we touched on was building resilience to cope with volatile and ambiguous work environment, or to cope with hurt or mistrust or adversity in personal life. Now, many of the women that I'm coaching right now are in between jobs or looking for new jobs. So that can be a grueling experience. So you need to be resilient in your job search as well. Now, I typically share personal stories and examples in my sessions, and this topic reminded me of an unhappy experience, a personal hurt that I had last month. It was one of those times, when you think that you made the right decision and agreed on an opportunity based on the values of the person whom you'll be working with. And then this person breaks your trust and betrays you for their personal gain. Now, in this situation, I faced both financial and personal setback, and it shook my confidence in my ability to be a good judge of people. It made me question if I trust people too easily. I always assume a positive intent, so it was really hard for me to accept that this person had betrayed me, and to deal with that hurt, I had to be really resilient. So here are the few tips that work for me in times of distress. The first one is to be optimistic. The power of positivity is huge. When the going gets tough, it's natural for the mind to gravitate towards negative thoughts. Now, making conscious effort not to let negativity take over really helps. When you're dealing with stressful or crisis situation in your life, you have to keep reminding yourself that this too shall pass. Remind yourself that you have successfully handled all hard times you have been through so far, such as failing an exam or breaking up with a significant other. Now, in my case, I kept reminding myself that there must be some good hidden in this bad experience, right? You have to think positive, you have to push through. The second one is keep your confidence high. When the hard times hit, the first thing that falters is our confidence. We start doubting our ability to successfully deal with difficult circumstances. Now, in the example that I mentioned, in my case, I started doubting my ability to be able to be a good judge of people. I was wondering if I could really trust someone moving forward. So it's important to keep working on your confidence. I had to remind myself that, it was not my fault to trust somebody. Now, what helps is taking 5 minutes each day to list all the successes of your day. And this might seem really silly because, sometimes when you start writing your successes for the day, you think, there weren't any successes today. But when you're stressed out, when you're feeling low, even a small thank you email from a client or a team member is a success, right? When you're depressed, even being able to go out for a walk is a success. Or even being able to cook healthy food for yourself is success. The third one is to ask for help to keep you up and running in the times of distress. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You might need help in terms of emotional support, someone you can talk to who keeps you motivated and boosts your confidence, to someone with whom you can just share your feelings with. I don't think you always need advice, but you often need people to just listen to you in times of distress. And the fourth one is pray often. Now, this is personal but works for me all the time. And prayer isn't about religion. It's about putting positive thoughts out into the universe. And when you put your desire for the things to change for better out there in the universe, you actually invite all positive energies to help you through the process. So make sure to pray for good times, for healing, and not to complain about your current situation. And today's free resource for you, my friends, is a link to tips on how to build resilience. The link is in the show notes below, so check it out and let me know if you find it useful. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for loving, liking, supporting, and sharing the podcast. Remember, sharing is caring. I love your feedback, emails, and messages, so please keep them coming. Our audience is growing exponentially each week, and we have a lot of requests for new topics, which is awesome. So I look forward to seeing you again in our next podcast. Till then, keep empowering the world.